Hey guys, I'm Shaft of Penny Casting Crew. Thank you for joining us. This is Base Wars Qualifier number 7. My lovely co-caster tonight is Carson Tyrannus Wood. Our observer streamer for this evening represents Team Pandora's Mighty Soldiers. It's none other than Drew Universe. Big shout outs to both of those guys. Thank you for joining us. As I mentioned, we're going into the third round of this qualifier. This is a best of one series between none other than the Red Zergy McFerguson here on the bottom right hand side of Heavy Rain Ladder Edition, representing Chaos Latin Gamers, a force to be reckoned with in this tournament, no doubt. His motto is, when you have a problem with a Grandmaster, call JimRising. And here on the northern side of that very same map, in the blue Brotos trunks, a newcomer to this tournament, it's Akhee. So we've got a pull first opening here, Carson. This is a little bit safer. We won't have the potential for a cannon rush like we saw in the last game. How does this make you feel?
It looks like both of them are actually playing. Actually, it looks like Akhee's playing a little bit greedier with the pylon in the main, and then a Nexus first, and JimRising's playing a little bit safer with this pool first. So I don't think he'd be able to get very much damage done, but let's see if he can get a few lings and then into the base.
Gotcha. So I did have a nice interview with JimRising before this event. He thinks that Cham or Major probably have the best chance at winning this qualifier, and for certain moving into the playoffs. He feels like he's got a strong chance as well, but he's a little bit uncertain who the rest of the guys going into the playoffs are. Remember, this is qualifier number 7. These players are playing for points based on their rank in the qualifier. All points from all 7 qualifiers are added up, and the top players, the top 16 players, will be going for playoffs next week, Friday and Saturday night at the same time as this tournament, 7:30 Brazilian time. But other than that, Jim, feels very confident in everything but his Zerg versus Zerg. So we'll see his Zerg versus Protoss shenanigans shortly.
Yeah, we'll see what he has planned for this, because it looks like this was a calculated build so that he could get lings into the main with making 6. You don't usually make 6 unless you know you can get him in. He was pretty successful in that, getting 5 of the 6 in. Don't think he should lose another one and harass this probe line a bit.
Yeah, actually, Akhee could have pulled some probes when he saw the lings initially and blocked that ramp, but chose not to.
Yeah, that mistake's probably going to prove a little bit costly for him, losing 1 probe at the moment, and just the mining time lost is pretty devastating right now.
Yeah, and the harassment potential for the probes here is incredible. The minerals that are lost in lost mining time, as you mentioned, just crazy. He picks off a probe from the gas, doing a great job here with this micro. Really, all his concern is not to do damage. It's not even to cause mining loss. It's mostly to keep these lings in here scouting, so he catches nothing by surprise.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest reasons he did this as well. It's just so annoying for a Protoss player at getting 3 probes picked off now, as well as the earlier lost mining time and the extra scouting. These links have paid for themselves tremendously at this point.
Exactly, man. So we've got Warp Gate on the way now. Cybercore is finished, so the potential for a higher level tech for Akhee is there. Where does Akhee go from here? He's obviously hiding it from Jim. He's not building extra gateways. He's not building higher tech. But once he can get rid of these lings, what's he gonna do?
I'd say the standard at the moment in ZVP is Stargate, but I'd also say that there's no standard in ZVP, so it's really just personal preference. I don't know what he likes to do, but looks like a robo's actually on the way, so my guess would be some sort of timing.
Okay, fair enough then. So still no third base from Jim. That's a little bit of a concern. He is taking his 3rd and 4th gas. He's got a layer halfway done. Can this be anything other than a Spire?
No Roach Warren on the way, and there's only 1 Evo chamber. Unless it's very quick Hydra, I would assume it is a Spire, yes.
10 lings. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that the Spire will actually, if it is a Spire, it'll actually turn out really, really well for JimRising with this Robo first and a Warp Prism first, actually. So There is. I'm sorry, I was gonna say there is range attack on the way, so it may not actually be a Spire. So
we will be finding out shortly. Even if it were Hydras, you would expect to see a quicker third than this. Anyways, these Lings handily dealing with the Zealots. The Queen's making all the difference in that engagement. Also, some great surrounds with the Lings. Plus, there's the hydralisk again. So the +1 range is starting to make a little more sense. But yep, there's the third base. Jim, more than likely going to be aggressive on mostly Hydra Ling. This is a very typical style for him. He skips the roaches almost entirely, goes for the Hydra Ling, and then transitions into a Spire. This will allow him to get three, maybe 4 bases and be incredibly aggressive against his opponent. But his opponent wants to flip that and do it to him as well. Queen's already in position to deal with this. Warp Prism being forced to drop the sentries off to deal with the Queens, and the sentries going to be left with no Warp Prism support. And the Lings flooding in here. That's a lot of Lings, dude.
Yeah, that was a big disaster for Akhee there. He not only did he lose his harass potential with the Warp Prism, but he lost 3 sentries, which is basically going to neuter this push. He's down to 2 sentries with 86 gas, and there's Hydras on the way with a lot of Lings. So he's going to need a miracle, I think, to make this push work.
Yeah, Jim is a very solid player, man. Guy's got some really unorthodox strategies, but they work, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. He is banking a lot of resources, though. Do you think that's just to respond to his opponent? Because his opponent has not taken a third base, he may need to make an army on the fly, or is there another reason?
It looks to me right now that he can't actually spend all his money due to his lack of larva. But he's only missed 1 inject, so with this third base coming up, I think his bank should be going down a little bit quicker.
All right, well, Ling's flooding here into the main. Really sloppy by Akhee letting these in here. And this could actually be game. That mineral line is completely going to get devastated.
Yeah, there's like almost no sentries with this push, and it's not actually bringing Akhee back at all, luckily for him, but he's even more all in now than he was before, and with 16 Hydras at home, 6 more on the way, and the bank to make even more things, I don't see Akhee making this push work with only 3 immortals and 5 sentries.
So how did Jim get this far ahead? Was it just those 6 Lings in the beginning, or is there something else going on?
I think it was a combination of
Hold that thought.
Lings.
Hydra's holding the immortals here, really hurting that 1 immortal. That's going to push this entire attack back. The Warp Prism is going to be here, but as long as these hydralisks are continually pushing Akhee back, there is no reinforcement chance here for Akhee. He's going to try to take it, but the Warp Prism is going to fall, and that's why he shouldn't have tried to warp in. Continue your thought.
I was gonna say, this game has been a slippery slope for Akhee for the longest time. Losing letting those 5 Lings into his base, losing 3 probes to them, and then losing the Warp Prism and 3 sentries, while doing no damage. Pretty much cost him the entire game. On top of that, it seems JimRising's build was perfectly calculated to deal with this sort of push, with the quick Hydras coming out at almost the perfect time.
Okay, well, Jim, now getting the Hydra's speed, he's been moving off creep with these slow-moving Hydras, and literally no buffer whatsoever this entire game, but he's going to use that to siege his opponent's natural. He has denied this third base time and time again, and the Hydralisk is just going to make it even harder for Akhee to hold. Once this Cybercore falls, that means no more Stalkers for our Protoss here, and with nothing but Zealot Sentry, it's going to be really hard to hold these Hydralisks.
Yeah, I don't even think Stalkers would help him in this situation. He is in a pretty big trouble, and there's the GG.
Yeah, GG! JimRising moving on to round of 4. Or no, round number 4. Wow, that was an epic fail shaft. Okay, so why were those 6 Lings able to get him? Was that a mistake by Akhee, or did Jim just have the perfect timing there on those?
He did have the perfect timing, but it was sort of strange that he decided to build the forge in his main instead. I feel like if he built the forge at his natural, he would have definitely had a wall up in time, and Jim would have made an extra pair of Zerglings for absolutely nothing, and it wouldn't have done any damage. So it was a combination of being extremely lucky, knowing your opponent, and having the right build.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I do want to thank all the viewers for coming out tonight. It's an honor to be casting this for you. Please tell your friends about this event. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Reddit. You know, talk about it on Team Liquid. get spread the word. Everyone should be tuning into this. This is an amazing tournament with amazing players. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Let us know what you think in the comments below. The chat is also another great way to talk to us. Other than that, we are moving on into our very next game, so we'll be right back.